We must be over the rainbow.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most groundbreaking, influential, and/or timeless scenes in film history.
Was Mr. Colbert ever in this greenhouse, say last night about midnight?
Number 10. Light Cycle Run, Tron. Before the 1980s, it was much harder to imagine a movie taking place in a digital world. Tron helped to change all that with cutting-edge, never-before-seen visuals. Jeff Bridges' character finds himself in a digitized space where the scenery needs to look convincing. The famous light cycle sequence was key, and a thrilling moment that includes fully computer-generated environments. The painstaking process needed to build these images represented a huge step forward for modern VFX. Without scenes like this one, many of the believable worlds in current live-action and computer-animated features wouldn't exist.
Come on.
There's also the 2010 sequel that pays homage to the original project's look. It certainly deserves to be celebrated. Number 9. The Steadicam, Bound for Glory. For this biopic about the US folk singer Woody Guthrie, the filmmakers used a now vital new piece of equipment. One scene guides audiences through an encampment with fluid motion, and it's all thanks to the Steadicam, invented by Garrett Brown. Brown's technology finally allowed for camera operators to have more stable and precise movements. Putting viewers in the midst of the action, this sequence feels as if you're truly walking with Guthrie in the 1930s.
Don't make no difference. I mean, they all work the same.
Cinematographer Haskell Wexler brilliantly applied the newfound tech, taking the Oscar for his work on Bound for Glory. Other movies, such as Rocky, would also use the invention that same year, and the rest is history. Number 8. The Final Shot, The Great Train Robbery. Edwin S. Porter directed this Western in 1903, and is widely held to be one of the most influential silent movies of all time. Perhaps most famously of all, however, Porter decided to conclude this landmark project with a bang. An outlaw fires a gun at the screen, breaking the fourth wall for a classic ending. Back then, it was a hugely inventive way to alter the audience's expectations. Martin Scorsese later paid tribute to the shot at the end of Goodfellas, and today, the fourth wall break is a tried and tested trope.
Get to live the rest of my life like a schnook.
But it was the Great Train Robbery that really put it on the map, and it was Porter's creativity that paved the way. Number 7. Slapping Back, In the Heat of the Night. For this Oscar-winning film, Sidney Poitier plays the iconic role of Virgil Tibbs. The detective finds himself investigating a crime while dealing with racism in Mississippi. When, in one scene, Tibbs confronts the plantation owner, Eric Endicott, it was a pivotal moment.
Well, let us say the people who work for Mr. Colbert might reasonably regard you as the person least likely to mourn his passing.
While the racist man slaps the hero, the lead character immediately puts Endicott in his place. The aftermath and the reactions combine to create a scene that's heavy with tension. Poitier gave audiences a radical look at a black character fighting back against white oppression. It's a moment that represented a new step in the civil rights movement, taking a pointed look at race relations in America.
There was a time when I could have had you shot.
Number 6. First love scene, Ecstasy. Before reaching Hollywood, Hedy Lamarr had already made a name for herself in Europe. One of her earlier films was the Czech production Ecstasy. Released in 1933, it contained shots that were considered extremely sexually explicit for the era. One sequence found Lamarr's character in an intimate moment with her lover, for what could reasonably be called the first sex scene to feature in a mainstream release. The overall movie was so controversial that it was censored in many countries. It might be considered tame by today's standards, but it broke boundaries in the 30s and rewrote the rules around sex in the big screen. Number 5. The Ambush, Bonnie and Clyde. Arthur Penn directed this controversial but acclaimed film, and it was much more than just your average crime story. Starring Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway, its tale of the real-life eponymous bank robbers takes a graphic look at violence, and at a time when that wasn't the norm. The end sequence features what are still considered to be some of the most visceral killings ever put to screen. Penn doesn't hold back, delivering a scene that still has the power to shock audiences.
Hey.
It's a truly gruesome finale, riddled with bullets, but it also served to dramatically influence American cinema from that point forward, all the way up to today, where movie violence is not unusual. Number 4. Shower Scene, Psycho. Very few scenes can claim to be quite so studied as this one. In Alfred Hitchcock's classic thriller, the plot goes haywire when Marion Crane takes a shower, and the result is an even more iconic chapter in cinematic violence than Bonnie and Clyde would be 7 years later. Hitchcock famously kills off his leading lady in dramatic fashion, using a series of quick cuts to show her bloody fate unfolding. It broke new ground and defied censorship rules at the same time. The shocking narrative shift so early in the movie is another reason why Psycho stood out. In an often repeated claim, this is also said to be the first scene to show a toilet being flushed. That's not quite true, but showing a toilet was a surprising rarity. All in all, it certainly changed how we saw our bathrooms. Number 3. The Odessa Steps, Battleship Potemkin. In the early 20th century, many Soviet filmmakers helped to shape the future of cinema, with plenty of experimentation and innovative editing choices. This scene, however, is remembered above any other. Director Sergei Eisenstein created the look, feel, and incredible tragedy of a violent massacre. The Odessa Steps sequence combines striking imagery with strategic cuts to create unbearable tension. Chaos takes hold, while the iconic image of the baby carriage ties the sequence together. Although Battleship Potemkin is inspired by true events, this exact scene on the stairs didn't actually happen in real life. And yet, it still holds up as one of the greatest ever depictions of bloodshed and conflict on film. Number 2. Leaving Kansas Behind, The Wizard of Oz. Imagine watching a movie in 1939 and seeing this happen.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Contrary to popular belief, this moment actually wasn't the first time that people had seen color on screen, but it did mark the finest use of Technicolor to that point, and a true breakthrough in the industry. Dorothy and Toto exit their drab Kansas life, entering into the vibrant set of Munchkin Land for one of the most magical transitions in the history of film. Creating it was no easy feat, with the cast and crew reportedly working on some individual scenes for weeks, even months at a time. Everyone had to adjust to make the new technology work. The Technicolor process, among other things, is said to have skyrocketed the studio's electricity bill to more than $4 million in today's money. But no matter how they got there, the result is nothing short of a classic.
No, I know we're not in Kansas.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. You Ain't Heard Nothin' Yet, The Jazz Singer. Up until the late 1920s, movies were largely silent affairs. The trajectory of cinema then changed with The Jazz Singer. The 1927 release includes the first instance of synchronized dialogue, with this scene featuring the lead Al Jolson addressing a crowd.
You ain't heard nothing yet. Wait a minute, I tell you, you ain't heard nothing.
It's a simple line, but nothing was ever the same again. Behind the scenes, the moment was made possible by the Vitaphone system at Warner Brothers, something which co-founder Sam Warner, in particular, had pushed very hard to set up.
Goodbye. Don't cry.
In an eerie twist of fate, Sam died the day before the world premiere of The Jazz Singer, and so he never saw the lasting impact that this one movie would have. The talkies had arrived.
Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain, I've a smile on my face.
Which specific movie scene would you say changed everything? Let us know in the comments.
That won't be necessary.
Oh, but it is. It is demanded by the gods, it is.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.